All right, let's work on this bottom one. I got my little knee pad. Let's see if you can see me dipping. Yeah, you can. Okay. Be liberal, because you're gonna take some of that paint off. I just don't want to get too much on there at one go, because I just don't think I need to, and then I can go back. It's not a race. We're not racing anybody, are we? Okay. Across there. Make sure you blend it in nicely. Okay. Before we do the next bit. I can do right here. Because I don't have a whole lot of paint in my tray, I can just take it down, straight down on there and take a little bit off and just do that. You know? I don't have to go in there sideways to take the paint up and then get too much of my side filled up, my bristles. Just think, and slowly but surely you'll get the hang of it. That's just how it works. The more you do, the better you're going to get. And you're going to be like, oh, that's what I should do next time. You're always going to screw up too. And then, you know, what I usually do at the end of a job or at the end of a door or something, or after I do the doors, yeah, I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have been aware of edges to make sure nothing's running anywhere, make sure everything's blended in and all that, check it. Because sometimes around these edges, if you're not paying attention, it could run on you, drip. Because this is semi-gloss paint. It's not flat paint. It's not like what do you call it? It's like satin paint or eggshell. I mean, those paints will run too, but you always got to be aware of that. If anything runs, it's going to be on that tip. It's going to be up there on that, or wherever. So when you get done, you kind of want to be aware of that and check things, okay? And make sure you don't have any runs. If you do get a run, worst case scenario, you can fix it. Okay, I'm gonna go up here and look at that. Everything looks pretty good. And remember, now I'm gonna go back and hit certain things. I can see that top bit I can hit. Okay, and here's the other thing. I could do this edge down about here, let's say, on both sides right now, because when I lift this door and flip it, I'm not going to put my hand up high, am I? I'm not. So I guess I could check that down to here, let's say, and hit it. Now I'm doing the top a little bit because I sanded up there. Okay, I'm hitting this edge because it was a raw edge. All right. So I'm going to hit that stuff now. As I go, before I flip this door. Okay, here I can just hit it like that. I don't have to get this whole edge, because part of that, or this face, part of that I can hit after I flip the door, right? I'm just concentrating on hitting all the raw stuff right now and making sure I get the excess off. Okay, I'm not going to go any lower than that, let's say, okay? Because later I can flip it around. Actually, I'll go down just a hair further. I'm just going to have to be aware. Okay, no further than that. I've got a line of raw wood right there on the face of that edge, and then on that edge, the outside edge. Make sure you blend that in, okay? You don't want to build up an edge there, because when I go with the paint roller, I don't want to build up any edge there, okay? Now I've got to decide what to do with this 20-minute label on the side of my door. I'm wondering what to do with that. Some people I've seen just paint over it. And I could do that. Because I've got one on the door jamb up high too, right? Or I can put masking tape on there and then score it all the way around and clean it off and stuff. I might do that too. Okay, so I'm going to go down about just to there. Okay, now anything on the face that I happen to see that are marks or anything like that, like around the door, door handles, where there's a couple marks on here. Oh, there's a gouge right there. I'm just gonna kind of hit that. I don't have to do that around all the doors handles, but if you see dark marks and stuff, that's fine. You can hit them now. Okay. And I'm gonna check down low. Remember where the door shoe for the weather stripping piece down here, and then there's some black marks on this door. I can hit them right now, can I? And any marks that I see, I can hit. Okay, that'll just help before I do the roller. And this little bit is going to be dry before I do the roller, because I'm not putting that much paint on. All right, here's a line there, and I see some marks down here, foot marks and stuff. So I can just hit it. Okay, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Main thing is you want the paint to blend in. You don't want or the edges to blend in. You don't want any edges on your paint. Okay, and so I'll have to be careful with that. I don't want to build up too much on the bottom, but then again, I don't want any marks to show, because once I put the door shoe on, if you put too much paint on there, it could build up, and you're going to have to be real careful when you put that door shoe on. What I usually like to do is I don't like to lift it all the way up and then try to slide it on, because you could gouge it, especially if you have to push the door shoe down a little bit, let's say. Do you know what I mean? And so you just have to be aware of that. I like to try to get it down too low, slide it on there, make sure I've got it. Then I can slide it up to where I think it needs to be. Okay. In fact, on this edge now, I can decide. When I lift this up to flip it around, I'm going to be lifting from right in here, right? You know, I'm not going to be lifting from down here, so I could paint this edge now, couldn't I? Down low. I think that's what I'll do. And I'll just have to remember that after I flip the door around, I'm going to have to do the edge that I haven't done yet. Okay? Just so I don't get my paw prints on it. And if you wait long enough before you flip it, I mean, if you get a little bit on you, it's probably not that big of a deal. You know? Because you're going to put two coats on with your roller over it. I might just hit it. What do you think? Should we just hit it? Be done with it? It's not going to take very long to dry, but see, that's the thing. When I get done with all this, I don't want to have to sit and wait for it to dry, but it depends. If you can sit and wait for this side to dry, it's not going to take very long. And I could start working on the door frame, the door jamb, and do some stuff over there, clean it, and then this should be dry. You know, it's not going to take that long because I'm only hitting that, and then I'll just have to be kind of careful with it, and then I could still hit it wherever I hit my finger, right? So I think I'm gonna make the decision of going ahead and painting it. So I've just changed my mind. I'm giving you options on what you can do. See, nothing is written in stone. You can do whatever you want. You're the boss. Nobody else on this thing. I want to be careful where the latches are, because I don't want to get any paint on there, and because then it will start running down through there. But if you get some on there, you're just going to have to be mindful of that. Okay, so I'm hitting it. We're just going to go ahead and hit it. Be done with it, so I don't forget later. And I've got other things I can do. But it's up to you, okay? Just kind of giving you other ideas on how you can get your stuff done, okay? So now I've got that edge, I've looked at that, got that. Now I'm going to do that other side over there, get that. And I'm not just doing this for your benefit. If I wasn't running the video camera, I'd do it the same way. Okay? I don't like to slop through painting. If I'm going to do it, it doesn't take that much longer to do it right than it does to do it wrong. You know what I mean? There's a mark there. And so why not get in the habit of learning how to do it right? Okay. Make sure wherever I put some paint on there, I've got it all pretty much blended in. I've got one little mark there. I might as well take care of that now. I can get rid of that. Okay, there. Yeah, that's why all of that stuff around there, around your door hinges, needs to be cleaned off prior, because you want your paint to stick on there, don't you? Okay. I'll probably put masking tape on that, on my little 1 hour, my 20-minute rated label. The last person, they've left some of their paint on there because they tried to cut in around it. So now I'm going to have to kind of clean that off afterwards to make it nice. But you can look at this edge a little bit again, see if you got enough paint over that raw wood. Okay. Now I'm going to look at the door, see if there's any other little places that maybe I need to check and put a little bit more paint on. You see that edge right there? It's hard to cover it with just the first little go. and I can still see little bits of it that needs to be covered. Okay, all right, that looks pretty good. Don't go wiggy on me. Spend too long on things, you know. And because I have the craft paper down there, if I spill and I can see exactly where the wet paint is. I got some paint markings here, but that's dry paint from last time I used that craft paper. Right here, this is dry, okay? But you can always check it. If you get a little big piece, you can wipe it off and take a rag or something. Make sure you don't step on it, track it all over the place. And if I drip any paint, it's on the craft paper. You see what I mean? Okay, so before I flip that door, I gotta wait just a few minutes for this to dry. It's not gonna take, trust me, it's not gonna take that long to dry. Semi-gloss paint doesn't take that long to dry either, especially in the conditions. We're 90 degrees today or so. And so while I'm waiting for that, I can work on this door, can't I? Remember, this is where I took that sanding bit out. Right there, it had a run on there. So I've got to put some paint on there, and I'll look at this door and see if I have to put any paint anywhere else. I don't think I do. I think it's just that one spot. So I can just do that now while I'm waiting for that other door to dry. Okay. And I'm trying just to do this edge. I don't really have to do anything on this per se, but if you hit a little bit, it's not really going to show on this edge. Okay? But like I say, I'm not going to go wiggy, but I do see on that edge where I could put a little bit more paint, and I might as well. It seems as though I'm right here. I might as well stick it on there. Just to get a little. Okay. Now I don't want to do any more because I don't want to get it on the face of the back side of that door. Okay. Because I'm not painting over there, am I? I'm not going to paint that. Just doing this over here, and looks like we've got that. I'm gonna try to put just a hair more paint right on there where I sanded that, and I'm just building that. I'm covering it, and I'm also putting one coat of paint. It's kind of filling up that tapered edge, and so when that dries, I can lightly sand just this little bit right here, and then wipe that down before I do the rest with the paintbrush, right? Or with the paint roller. Okay. So, there I go with that. That's all I'm doing with that. Now I can decide. See, it hasn't been that long. I'm gonna just decide right now whether or not I want to flip this. I don't really think I do want to flip it. I mean, I think I could, but I'm gonna let this dry just a little bit more. Okay. So while I let it dry, I can leave this little bit of paint in my paint tray. How am I gonna leave this now? Okay. I can leave that paint can open. It's fine because I'm gonna get into it in a little bit, and this paint there is fine. And now I've got to do something with my paintbrush. It's only going to be 10 minutes maybe. I'll wait until I get up there to flip that around. But I don't want to leave this paintbrush like this right now. Okay? Because then it's going to harden up. I don't want to wash this out. Because if I wash it out, then I can't use this paintbrush because it's going to be wet. Right? I'm going to take it in this plastic, and I'm just going to roll it in here like this. Okay. I could have cut that plastic in half, and now I can flip it over at the angle. Now I can depress it right into the bristles with my plastic. You want that plastic to be pushed all the way up against the bristles so the bristles do not dry out. Don't just wrap the bag over there willy-nilly and then think you're done, because you're not until it's covered all of the bristles. Okay, you see what I mean? And now that is not going to dry out at all, is it? I'm going to leave that paintbrush just like that. I can leave that there for 10 minutes. I can leave it there for a half hour if I want, or an hour. If I was going to lunch right now, I could leave that there, full well knowing that when I come back, that thing is going to be all nice and wet and ready to go when I flip this door around. Okay, so I've already looked at this door. I've looked to make sure I don't have any runs anywhere. Because if I did have any runs, if I painted around here, I could have one there, or there, or there, or there, or at this edge, or that edge, or that edge, or that edge. You see what I'm saying? That's where, if your paint is going to run, if you didn't wipe it all off properly, that's where you would get a little run. And if you get that, then, you know, you got to scrape it off and then work on it again. You don't want, the last thing you want is those runs when you get into your roller. Okay, if you get a run in there now, that's fine. After it dries, scrape it off, lightly sand it, do whatever you have to do before you do the face of all these, and you'll get it to cover. But you don't want it on your coat of paint, your finished coat of paint, because you're never going to get that off unless, if you got a run there, how are you going to fix that? You'd have to scrape it off and stuff. You can't just take a paintbrush and right there, because now you're going to see that on this whole door, okay, where you did the paintbrush, because it's not going to have the same finish as your roller cover that you're going to use, whether you use a foam roller, a 1/4 inch roller, 3/8 apple roller, whatever roller you're going to use. It's not going to be the same. And then you're going to have a little bit of extra buildup of paint around here, where if you look at it in the light, you're going to say, oh yeah, I see where you fix it. You fixed it there, and you fixed it there, and you fixed it there. See exactly what you did. How come you did that? If you have a run here, and if it was a last coat, I would take that off and you know, when it's still wet, and then I would not only roll that, I would re-roll this whole vertical piece from the top, boom, all the way down to the bottom, just to fix one little run. Do you see what I mean? Okay, so I'm just gonna wait a little bit. This one looks fine now. Okay, I'm just gonna wait, and now I can take this weather stripping out, right? I can take this weather stripping out. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Okay, that's gonna turn out nice. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos. I hope to see you again, and I'll show you some more on these doors and beyond. I still got some other things to do at this condo renovation, so keep watching the episodes.